What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, August 24th, 2026, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 15:29 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from the Middle East and from Eastern Europe. It looks like all the attention is now going to be shifting towards Eastern Europe. It appears that Russia is getting ready to attack NATO, potentially the Baltics and Poland, and also potentially some kind of big push in Ukraine so they can take more land in Ukraine. But right now, we currently have U.S. nuclear forces on high alert. We have a presidential Doomsday plane that flew from MacDill Air Force Base in Florida to Colorado Springs, which is the home of NORAD, North American Aerospace Defense. And if you're not aware of what NORAD does, they monitor incoming missiles. Specifically, in the event of a nuclear war, NORAD would be the one that would be monitoring and calculating missile trajectories, okay? So we had a presidential Doomsday plane fly from Tampa, Florida, MacDill Air Force Base to NORAD headquarters in Colorado Springs. There is a bunker there underneath Cheyenne Mountain. There's a massive Doomsday bunker there, okay? So I don't know if something is about to go down. We have had U.S. nuclear forces on high alert for the past 2 weeks. And here we have a U.S. nuclear war command and control plane that just took off from U.S. Strategic Command headquarters, and it is going straight down into the Gulf of America to transmit nuclear codes to our submerged nuclear-armed submarines. Here's the Doomsday plane flying to Colorado Springs, which is where Cheyenne Mountain is located. Interestingly, we also had a nuke sniffer airborne over Indiana at the same time. And then we also have some interesting flights coming out of Israel. We have a large number of aerial refuelers leaving Israel and going to Ramstein, potentially redeploying U.S. forces into Europe for upcoming Russian invasion of Poland and the Baltics. So 2 Russian Gerbera drones were found off the coast of Romania last night. One had an explosive charge, and in the past week there were 2 separate incidents in which Russian kamikaze sea drones were found right off the coast, or right off of a Romanian deep sea gas exploration rig in the Black Sea. Okay, so Russia is actively attacking NATO countries now, guys. Okay, multiple Russian drones going to Romania in the last 2 weeks. Also, we had that Russian missile fly 60 miles into Poland. There was also a Russian airspace violation of Finland a couple of days ago. There was a Russian drone in Latvia that was shot down. So you see what's going on here. This is a pattern, okay? Russia is testing NATO's responses to see how good we respond. They can see if we're well prepared or not. And so far we have failed pretty much every single test. Also, I believe there was a missile that flew into Romania. I'm sorry, it was actually an airborne drone that flew into Romania that had to be shot down a couple of days ago as well. And the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said Russia could mobilize another 300,000 troops this coming fall. And I'm hearing reports of up to 800,000 troops being mobilized this fall within the next 2 months, okay? So that is very, very serious. Looks like Russia's preparing to do something big. They know that we have depleted at least half of our critical missiles in the failed war against Iran. We depleted half of our Patriot missiles. We depleted 3/4 of our THAAD missiles. those missiles are both critical for protecting NATO countries against missiles, okay, Russian missiles in particular. And so Russia knows that we're depleted. We're not going to come to help the Baltics and Poland as quickly as we would before the Iran war because we're depleted. So there's a limit to what we can give to these countries, okay? And Zelensky announced that he reached an agreement with the Chancellor of Germany regarding the delivery of 600 Patriot missiles in 2027 through 2028. That's too late. That's, in a year to 2 years. By then, forget it. That's too long. And we're hearing in the Kaliningrad Oblast, which is a part of Russia next to Poland and Lithuania, Russians have conducted mobilization exercises for reservists, according to data from Western intelligence services. Similar orders were also issued in other regions of Russia. Okay, so why would they be doing mobilization exercises in Kaliningrad if these troops were just going to be for an attack on Ukraine, an expansion of the war against Ukraine? Why would they mobilize in Kaliningrad, which is next to Poland and Lithuania? Why? Because they're getting ready to invade Poland and the Baltics. They're going to attack the Suwalki Gap and close the connection to the Baltics from the rest of Europe and make a land bridge to Kaliningrad from Belarus. And Poland's defense ministry said the U.S., Britain, France, and Germany are now involved in fortifying Polish borders against Russia and Belarus. So Poland started this initiative worth billions of Polish zloty, okay, very expensive project to fortify their borders against Russia and Belarus, and they were doing it by themselves up until now. Well, now the U.S., Britain, and France and Germany are helping Poland. So this is critical because if there wasn't some kind of imminent threat, those Western European countries and the U.S. would not be helping Poland suddenly. Okay, so there's clearly a threat here. There was a U.S. intelligence report that came out last week saying that Russia could attack the Baltics and or Poland within the next month. And then they suddenly did this big air defense exercise over Poland last week, which is not a coincidence. And Ukraine has abandoned a plan to paralyze Russian airports using thousands of drones due to the risk of hitting passenger planes and worsening relations with European allies. And Ukraine's strike campaign against logistics facilities in Russia continues. It looks like Ukraine hit a massive logistics terminal in Krasnodar. Apparently this was owned by Ozon, and Ozon is a big logistics company in Russia. And Romania is moving to strengthen protection for civilians at Bucharest's two major airports as the drone threat moves closer to Romanian territory. The national company Bucharest Airports has launched a market consultation for counter-drone systems that could eventually be deployed at Henry, Coanda, and Băneasa airports. The systems are expected to be capable of detecting drones, tracking their flight path, and if necessary, neutralizing them. They would also need to operate day and night in different weather conditions. So very, very interesting. And Putin said that the attacks on Ukraine in recent weeks have been effective and have been helping Russian troops to carry out their combat tasks. And the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent declared in a Financial Times op-ed that the U.S. is launching the single greatest financial offensive ever marshaled against an adversary to economically isolate Iran, and that started today. And remember, Iran threatened to retaliate against this economic D-Day that they were planning, the Trump administration was planning. They said that they would hit bypasses of the Strait of Hormuz. So things like the Saudi East-West pipeline that crosses through Saudi Arabia and moves oil from the Persian Gulf to the Red Sea and bypasses the Strait of Hormuz could be targeted by Iran. So Iran is not just going to sit back and allow us to place these massive economic sanctions against them. They're going to retaliate, okay? And there's this crazy video, I can't confirm if it's true or not, showing these massive drone cages around fuel tanks and refineries in the United Arab Emirates to protect these massive oil and fuel facilities from Iranian drone attacks. Very, very crazy footage coming out. And Israel and Syria have resumed high-level talks days after Israel struck a Syrian airbase, with Mossad chief Roman Goffman meeting Syrian Foreign Minister Assad al-Shabani. The virtual meeting aimed at calming tensions was reportedly characterized as positive. And Iran's Minister of Petroleum announced a major gas discovery in the Fars province with more than 7.5 trillion cubic feet of gas, worth potentially tens of billions of dollars. The field would create a new source of wealth for the country, the minister said. And Iranian-linked hackers reportedly shut down a small UK energy generator for 4 days, prompting the government and the NCSC to brief energy companies. The UK government said there is no risk to the wider energy system. Okay, so this is one thing we got to worry about is Iranian cyber attacks. They have demonstrated over the years a capability to infiltrate infrastructure. And there's numerous documented cases out there. You can look them up for yourself if you don't believe me. And Reuters, citing maritime data, said fewer than 20 ships crossed the Strait of Hormuz over the weekend, okay? For the whole weekend, only 20 ships. And not all of those were even carrying oil, okay? So that is bad, guys. This is not going to get any better anytime soon. And Trump's new 50% tariffs have taken effect on Canada after the U.S. trade rep said the country declined to finalize the trade deal under the terms agreed earlier this week. So 50% tariffs, guys, on Canada. This is going to be terrible. Do you understand how bad this is going to be in addition to the war, the failed war against Iran? Oil prices already high. Guys, we import most of our oil from Canada, actually, compared to all other countries around the world. Most of our imported oil comes from Canada, okay? Most of it. So what do you think that's going to do? It's not going to help us. It's going to hurt us, guys. It's going to hurt you and me. And everything is going to get more expensive. If the Iran war wasn't bad enough, now we're in a trade war with one of our allies, okay? Canada is part of NORAD, okay? We have radars in Canada to monitor the airspace over the Arctic for Russian missiles coming over the Arctic. They're critical for our missile defense, okay, and for nuclear war. And now we're in a trade war with them. Does that sound smart to you? I don't think so. And the Canadian Prime Minister said in a statement that he has suspended trade negotiations with the U.S. after last-minute changes that Canada deemed were unfair, uneconomic, and called into question the reliability of any deal. The Prime Minister Carney also says that Canada plans to match the tariffs dollar for dollar, okay? So they're going to retaliate. Canada's not going to sit back and do nothing. they're going to retaliate, and we're going to be in trouble, guys, okay? Now, am I defending Canada and saying that Canada is perfect and we're evil? Of course not. Okay, I'm an American. I love this country, but sometimes you have to be smart about the battles you choose, okay? And when you go to war and which wars you fight, you have to be smart. You can't just fly off the handle and react, emotionally and randomly and say, yeah, today I just want to put 50% tariffs on Canada without thinking through the consequences of doing that, geopolitical consequences, economic consequences, all kinds of issues that would arise from doing something that drastic. We're not talking about 10% tariffs, 20% tariffs, 30% tariffs, 50% tariffs across the board. Okay, that is insane. And a more sensible approach would have been to maybe do 20% or 30% tariffs, not 50, okay, and maybe at certain sectors, not across the board. All right, so this is not good, guys. And the U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll is expected to step down by the end of the year amid months of reported tension with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, according to the Wall Street Journal. But that's the latest breaking news that I have, guys. Please support me on Patreon. YouTube is really shadow banning this channel, and they've completely changed their algorithm. So it's really hurting everybody. All creators on YouTube are suffering now because YouTube is stupid and greedy, okay? And they like to censor people. So if you want censorship-free information and without a massive amount of advertisements, okay, I don't put any ads on Patreon. Patreon has 0 ads, okay? And I always post everything first over there, and then there's exclusive updates that I post on Patreon as well, which the last couple of days I haven't been able to post as much. We have our local county fair that just started, and it's once a year, so, expect less programming from my channel over the next couple days, but please consider supporting me on Patreon. It's becoming very difficult to continue to post these videos every day. Basically, it's not worth my while. That's actually another big reason I haven't posted in a few days or done a live stream, because basically it's like working for free. Okay, making these videos takes time. Okay, what you're seeing is the finished product of hours of work. Okay, researching. I have to spend at least 2 to 3 hours to gather information. Then I have to spend an hour to organize everything. Then I have to spend another hour to upload and record and edit. Okay, it all takes time. Okay, and nothing is free. My time is precious, just like yours. Okay, so if you want to continue to see these videos, please join my Patreon, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this on YouTube. Okay. It's not worth my time anymore. So until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to empshield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video.